Okay, so here's a market update just to build upon what I was saying yesterday in my quick little trade alert. My generic go shopping for some cheap alts trade alert. The reason why I made it generic and just like go out shopping for cheap alts is a couple of reasons. I wanted everyone to kind of make their own decisions, and I warned people and told people, I said, prepare for battle. Now's the time. Study hard, train hard, and manage risk. If you don't know what you're doing, don't go too crazy. Manage risk, right? Now, at the time, Bitcoin was here and it had a bounce, and we actually scalped this bounce in the trading room. So congratulations to anybody who was in the trading room with me who caught this bounce play. It was quite a profitable little. It wasn't like huge, but when a market bounces, $100+ you can definitely make some money, some returns off of that, right? So we made some money. I probably made about half a Bitcoin scalping that, and then I had another little scalp last night on this bounce, but I didn't hold it overnight, just pretty much this wick, because I couldn't help it. you know, it's like a shark that sees blood in the waters, right? You can't help it. I gotta catch the bounce. So all right, so we broke down, right? And I said, listen, there's some capitulation and some cheap everything. Big nasty red disgusting candles and absolute chaos, and people just really really scared and panicking and freaking out, and that's when I get greedy, right? And yeah, you're on the edge. It's like there's always this feeling when everything is falling to chaos and bleeding and it looks that worst. There's always a part of you that says, should I wait for confirmation? Is now a good time to buy? What if it doesn't bounce? What if it keeps on? There might always be, and for myself, I just say, whatever. So what? If I take the hit, I take the hit. If I get punched in the face by the markets, I'm gonna take it. Right? That's what warriors do. I run out into the battlefield. I don't like wimp in the corner. I run out screaming, right? If I take a hit, I take a hit. Get back up. Do it again. You want to dump lower? I'm not all in. I've got more money. I could buy some more dips. I can buy some more blood. I could cost average down. You want to give me a crazier dump? Fine. Bigger the dump, bigger the bounce. Let's do this. Bring it on. I don't care. Right? That's how I felt last night. And then I felt greedy. So I'm like, oh, I'll take some of this. I'll take some of that. Oh, that's cheap. So I took my cash hedge because Friday I sent out a trailer and said, I'm out. Peace. So the heck with this Bitcoin stuff. I'm selling the rest of my altcoin bags. I'm cashing out into dollars, except for some long-term investment Bitcoin and some long-term investment whatever, ETC and CFI and stuff like that. I was like, boom, cash in the dollars. I didn't mess around. Now, sure, I could have waited for more confirmation. Oh, is there confirmation here? Oh, sometimes you could get did I cash out there, or was it there? I don't know. It was one of these. Maybe it was this one. Sometimes there's like paralysis by analysis, right? And paralysis by analysis is like, you got a breakdown. You start to get a breakdown. Like, oh, but wait. Okay, well, there's actually some support right here. There's some support right here. So why don't I just wait? And then so you don't cut it here, and then you're like, okay, this support broke down, but we're still testing the larger trend line. Maybe I'll just wait for that to break down. And then it breaks down, and you're like, all right, I'm out. And then you just dump the bottom. Congratulations. And then it bounces in your face. And you're like, ah. Right? And it could roll over and still crash and burn. Okay? That can happen. But I bet you a lot of people dumped all their Bitcoin bags yesterday. And then it bounced. And now what? Right? So that's why, yeah, sometimes I might jump the gun a little too soon, right? Sometimes I might get chopped out a little bit, but I've just got a new brutal rule of thumb, as you've seen me doing every time we, whoops, that's not it. Every time we break immediate lines, I cut it. I might not cut it like right, maybe it's like, maybe I cut it midway. But hey, as long as I'm not cutting at the bottom, and as long as I'm willing to pull the trigger and buy a dip, then I'm following the cardinal rule of buy low, sell high. Even if I don't nail the top, even if I'm a little later to the game, as long as I can get some meat. Listen, I made some Bitcoin off of that and some money off of that. I made some Bitcoin, selling when it broke down here. Where did I cut it? I think I cut it. Anyways, I don't know where I cut it, but somewhere. And then, yeah, we broke down this one and I cut it. And I think I caught a bounce play too. And then I bought a bounce. And then it broke down and I was ruthless and I cut it again. So I was just trading these waves, right? Just to meet, right? Not necessarily tops and exact bottoms, but enough to still make it profitable. And then, I bought another dip, but now the range is getting tighter and choppier. So then I cut it. But now it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't very profitable. It was a little tiny sliver. And then I bought another, we started breaking. We broke the immediate trend line. So it's like, as we were breaking it, got in, boom. And then I cut out, like I just cut out at a close to break even, actually, boom. And that was it. That was it. And I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I got to stop trading this. This is getting too tight. Too choppy, getting faked out here, but I cut it. And then we saw all this blood. And then altcoins, I cut out, reduced all these altcoins, consolidated in Bitcoin, consolidated into cash. And all of a sudden, all these altcoins started to capitulate. The markets were like pure chaos and panic. Okay, so this is kind of messy here. So that's my recap on Bitcoin. Got a little chopped out near the end, right? All right, so can we still fail and break down on Bitcoin? Yes, it's possible. Now, interesting thing with these markets is these lines and these markets are dynamic, right? They're dynamic. I mean, this just still kind of broke down a bit, but as long as it makes 3 points of contact, then you could still technically create a legitimate trend line. And there's some points of contact here, and it touched and hit a trend line. So I looked at that and I was like, okay, well, the lines keep shifting because the sands keep shifting in the markets because they're fluid and dynamic, and lines change, right? And some people think it's all hocus pocus because we keep changing our lines, but the markets keep bouncing and respecting off of lines and breaking down on trend lines. So maybe because other traders follow. Anyway, so I saw that yesterday, and I was like, okay, I could see a bounce happening here, right? Yeah, you adapt based on new info. I was like, I could see a bounce happening off of this, and so while everyone's like, it's broken, we're all watching that line, I'm like, hey, actually. And I sent this to someone as a joke because someone said, please send me a line to reassure me. And I, on Twitter, and I said, here's some balm, some soothing balm for our bloodshot eyes. So I readjusted a line for him. It turns out we bounced off that line. I was actually kind of joking, but it turns out we bounced off that line. But so I said, okay, even if we break down, right? This is my logic. There's a line here, but my other logic is, and also not to mention, kind of some support-ish area. But even if we continue to break down, oftentimes, and we go full bear, oftentimes the markets zigzag. When was the last time you seen a market that just goes in a straight line and dies? Unless there's just some delisted coin pump and dump. When is the last time you saw Bitcoin just go, meh, it's over. Game over. That's the end of the chart. And then from there on in, it's a flat line that goes straight and it's over. Nothing else. Nothing else to it. Right? When have you seen an L-shaped, I've never seen that unless it was some delisted garbage coin. Never seen it. So, I understand natural law principles. I understand market cycles, market behavior. Why do I understand it on the smallest, tiniest little minutia on the atomic molecular level, from scalping on the minute chart, buying dips right at support like a baller, and I know it on the bigger cycle from having to traded the larger market cycles, as above so below, the microcosm of the macrocosm. Get into some philosophy, right? So I know the markets bounce. So, and I love bounces. It's counterforce. For me, bounces feel like one of the most predictable things I've seen. Does that mean that it could fail? Does that mean I'm always going to nail the exact bottom? No, but I could have wiggle room. So while everything was bleeding, I went out shopping. Did anybody, show of hands, did anybody go dumpster diving in some flaming trash cans yesterday? Some flaming dumpsters for some torched crypto bags. All right, so throw up some things that you bought for fun. Strat? All right, let's look at Strat. I bought some Strat too. Let's look at Strat. Did it pop? I didn't even look. I didn't even look at the... Oh, there you go. Oh, man. Okay. There's some money. I'm in the money. I bought some Strat too. That was one of my picks. And I tweeted, I was trying to, give you all messages for the peeps and for whoever, but you guys know more than anybody because you know all the backstory about everything, whereas everyone's just getting little tweets. They got to kind of figure out the heck I'm talking about. But I basically tweeted, in your darkest hour, on the bloodiest of Mondays, look for the most degenerate red shitcoin candle, and there you will find hidden treasure. SOS, code word. I wasn't in the room, but I was sending out codes. Anyone who had the courage made some money. What else? Then I retweeted something that I tweeted on June 11th for fun, which is, in the darkest moments when all is lost, scared, and the markets can't take the pain, I will be there for you in capitulation to buy your bag. Oh yeah, I stacked sell limits on everything. I'm not holding these bags. I stacked them all up. Stacked at different levels. I bounce into my sell orders. I'm not holding this to invest. You think I want to invest in Strat at these levels? I had that stuff at a nickel. I had 100,000 of those bad boys. I'm not investing at these levels. Anyways. But a nice bounce play? Delicious. I love the bounce plays. All right, so I knew this one was pretty nasty. And so I bought some Strat. And it went all the way down. So if you want to measure how to find good dip buy levels, well, I found that either the 61.8 or the 78. Now, because these markets aren't that liquid, 78 is generally better. Now, I did send out a trade alert on Strat. I jumped the gun a little bit too early on Strat, admittedly, right here. But I did send out a market report the next day when it was close, before it dumped and broke down. So I sent in ample time, and I said I cut out at a break even. So I knew it was risky. And I knew that if things start to break down, that I didn't want to hold the bags at these levels. Reason being, the red candle wasn't, it was big, but it wasn't super deep. But when I see a red candle that's this deep, I mean, look at this. This thing is dumped like how many fib levels down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and like 2 solid fib levels down with a tiny little pause in between. And it did bounce. I was right. It did bounce. And that's why I didn't load the boat on all these alts either. I just picked one market. I was like, I also kind of felt like we had so many new students and traders. I felt like I got to find some kind of trade alert or something to keep people entertained, right? So I was probably pushing it. You know, this was a stretch, right? It was a stretch. So I cut out. If anybody lost money, I apologize. But also risk management, everybody's got to make their own trading decisions. Now, I loaded up on some strat down here, and now I'm in profit, and it probably already hit some of my sell orders. All right. So there's strat. What else did I load up on? Well, I saw Zcash was pretty nasty, and I was looking for a good Bitfinex market because I had all this cash on Bitfinex. I was like, I need some Bitfinex coin. Something liquid that can bounce. Well, guess who bought Zcash at the bottom before going to bed last night? Guess who loaded up with everything he had in his Bitfinex account that was cash into Zcash? I did. Right? Why would you do it? That's crazy, Rocky. Craziness. The madness. Well, yeah, I just added on the USD market, but ultimately I know that the BTC Zcash market is is the most liquid and moves the markets. Right? This is why they're all slaves to Bitcoin, because most of the liquid market mover markets for altcoins are paired against Bitcoin. Not USD. You could still trade it against USD, but Bitcoin is the most liquid, the Bitcoin pairing. So when the underlying reserve asset is volatile, then it affects everything else. So load it up. And stack some limit orders. I'm not getting extremely greedy on this. Okay, I'm not super greedy. I'm looking like, maybe 20% type of thing, right? I'm not gonna, like, listen, normally in a big dump, I would do this. But I also kind of want to manage risk. And you know what? I'm very, very satisfied with making 20 to 30% returns on these bounces. Because I basically used a good chunk, not all my cash hedge. I still kept some, right? And I still have some Bitcoin. I also bought back some Bitcoin on one account too with cash hedge. Basically, I still have fuel. So, the risk is like, what are you going to do if it dumps? What if you bought here and it goes down here? Like, I had to go to bed full well knowing that I could wake up and Zcash could be down here. What would I do? I would buy more. It sounds like madness, but I would. I'd cost average down. I'd be like, all right, give me a bigger bounce. You want to bleed harder? You're going to bounce higher, right? Really? Is it really just going to go in a straight line and go flat and die? Really? What part of this market anywhere have you ever seen that happen? Unless it's a slow grind. There's a difference. Learn to tell the quality of dump. Right? What we've seen yesterday is what I call primo high quality dumpage. Right? Actually, might have already hit my limit orders, to be honest. Here's a slow, grindy bear trend dump. This will happen to altcoins, by the way. And you do not want to be holding the bags when you experience this. Do you know why? Because you can't really buy the dips. You can maybe hold a short if you short it early. And that's it. There's nothing you could do here. Ethereum went through this. Zcash went through this. They all grinded. Ethereum Classic. They all grinded. This is the final stage of the bear trend when you get in this solid, grindy, disgusting, choppy, downwards bear channel that you just can't buy dips on that. You can't buy blood. You know, I'm going to buy a dip right here, weak. I'm going to buy a dip right here, weak. I'm going to buy a dip right here. Like, yeah, if you short it on the breakdown, like right here, then yes, you can just hold and be patient, make money. So that's the best play for something like that. Right? Yeah, you can cost average down, but the thing is that you don't know how far that channel's going to go. Right? You don't know how far that channel's, and you don't look how long. Honestly, do I want to cost average down for 3 months? Man, that would be a pain. That would be a real headache for me. Cost average, cost average, cost average, cost average. That would be like, man, you'd have to have like a very strong resolve to do that. And I don't know. I would rather wait for the first breakout. And listen, you remember when we broke out of that channel, who was there on it, pouncing on that prey like a lion, hunting a gazelle? My trade alerts, I was. Breakout, higher low, I'm in. I like Zcash all of a sudden. Hey guys, Zcash. Breakout. Let's do this. Check it out. Breakout. Oh, what's that? We broke out and we retested prior resistance turn support with a higher low. Sweet. Boom, what's that? Zcash went parabolic. I'm out. Boom, doubled my money. Because I knew it wasn't liquid and it was, you know, there was high inflation. That's where fundamentals come in. And it came out, boom. Got chopped out a little bit here, a little bit faked out, didn't really lose anything. Then we had another breakout. You know, I was on it like a hawk because I was interested in Zcash, but I had to be patient. I still not invest in this, by the way. I still would only invest in a real accumulation. I want to wait till there's like 8 million in supply and everything burns and I could pick it up for like $20. Then I will be Mr. Zcash whale. I will load the boat, stoke the fires, buy as much Zcash as I can. And I'll be a Zcash fanatic. Right now, I don't care for Zcash. It's like dirty underwear to me. Trade it and toss it away. Disposable. So, broke out. I didn't catch the early bird entry, but I caught the meat of it. Took some profit. Closed out the rest somewhere. Rest is history. Okay, so there's questions. A lot of questions about co-founded. CFI. Let's look at CFI. CFI is a different type of market right now. It's still experiencing price discovery. B-Trix, I guess that bled out pretty nice. So nice little bounce play, actually. Interesting. Okay, so like even this, right? If you pick some like mid caps or whatever, you know, you could have made like a quick 40%. That's not bad. These are amazing returns for quick trades, huh? By the way, 40%. Like we're spoiled, and these are our light trades. 20 to 40% is like a light snack. It's like you buy a dip, you go to bed, you wake up, you've made 20 to 40%. It's a breakfast snack. Right? We've been spoiled. We're gluttons. We've been 10x or bust, 1000% or bust. Anything under 1000%, we can, sucker. You know, then sometimes you could be a fool like me and sell like some strat at 10x and then watch it go up 40x. Watch $1 million pass you by. Feel pretty good when you bought it at 5 cents and sold at 50 until it goes to $10. So listen, I'm not perfect. I'm profitable, but I'm not perfect. I still constantly working on self-improvement and perfection. Right? I didn't know we were going to bubble that hard. It was a good bull trend. Hey, last year's bull trend, I would have nailed that. I would have nailed the top. Hey, you nailed it. Boom. Last year's bull trend, we had a quick cycle, boom, boom, boom. This year is like full on bubble. Bubble. So, CFI, People ask me at what point would I accumulate more. It's like this. I have a very nice sizable position in CFI as a long-term investment, right? I'm going to have strong hands. It can go down to a penny, and I personally don't care. That's just me. You have to decide for yourself what's right for you. I also have to say that I'm extremely biased. I've got confirmation bias on it because, oops. So I have confirmation bias, full disclosure, right? Why? Because I know the guys. I think they're cool. I think they're astute businessmen. I think they're smart. I think they've got some interesting projects down the pipeline. Are there other projects that could be a better investment than CFI? Yeah, probably. But I also don't know those people. Right? I don't know them. So I've got a bias because a part of my personal, due diligence is I feel comfortable having, for investment long term or accumulating something, I feel more comfortable if I know the people type of thing, right? Yes. that project that's coming up will definitely be going through Co-Found It. I absolutely guarantee you that much. That is going to happen. I will, and we're going to know about that next week. I'm going to talk about that all next week. And we're going to start the marketing and talking about it and all that stuff. It's going to be a very interesting network, interesting utility token. And that's that. And I'm going to be, full disclosure. I'll be getting paid some tokens on that project. And I'll probably be a whale, and Chris is going to help out as well. A little bit of promotion and such. So that project will be similar to what we had with Strat. Right. And like last year, I was I talked about Strat a lot, but I also, I fully disclosed that Strat paid us. Right. But I didn't I chose Strat because I thought it was cool and I thought the people are cool. And I said, hey, why don't you want some promo? Give us some tokens, so on and so forth. And, that's that. So, and guess what? And yeah, I've also traded Strat too, right? I've also traded Strat. I've also bought Strat as specific trades as well. I've sold and bought different areas and so on and so forth. So, and I recently bought Strat on this bounce play. So, do you have a plan making in-depth video explaining BTC scalping? Yeah, I have several videos. I wouldn't buy the secret project. I'm not going to be participating in the token sell, but, would I possibly add some buy support or, buy it if it got really cheap or something like that, buy some more, probably, it's a possibility. The Tezos, I just straight up participated as a token sale. I don't know the people. I thought it was cool. I liked the idea. But I didn't put in more money than I can afford to lose. I put in a few Bitcoin into it. I didn't go YOLO. I wanted to keep some available in case it went below the token price, so that I could buy it in more, right? So I was comfortable in losing a couple Bitcoin if it went into the gutter, right? I'm comfortable with that risk. So I'm not, I'm not fretting. I'm not gonna be chewing my fingernails for 4 months over it. And when the tokens come, and if it does well on the exchanges, then I'll make some money. I'll probably just gonna hold it as an investment. Actually, I think it would be kind of cool if Tezos could challenge Ethereum a little bit, take off some of the heat that Ethereum's been putting on Bitcoin, have its own challenger, right? Because it's trying to show smart contracts, but with decentralized governance. So I think that's kind of cool. And I want to be a part of that, even if it drops below the token sale price. I'll buy more. I've got plenty more Bitcoin to buy it and accumulate at cheaper prices if I think it hits a good level. So I'm cool with that, right? And that's just me. I know it's uncapped and they're greedy and this and that, and like 8% is going to their Lambos. And I looked at all the risks. I looked at all the sketchiness and all that stuff. But hey, sometimes you got to get in on something and just take that risk, right? And maybe I'll never get it that cheap again. Maybe it's like Ethereum token sale price. Is it too late at the moment? I would say it depends, right? I'd say it depends. So, I mean, this to me, when I look at Strass right now, I personally think this is obviously bouncing, right? It's a sharp V bottom, higher lows. That's that. Will it continue to bounce? I don't know. How will we know it hit a reversal? Well, if it breaks this immediate descending trend line, then chances are it'll have a bullish recovery. Am I comfortable and bag holding this as investment? Like when I say that I have something as an investment, I mean that I will hold it into the dirt. It can go down to like half a penny and I will bag hold that. That's what I mean when I invest. Right? I want to like at least a year or so. Unless it just goes like 100x tomorrow, then I'd be stupid not to take some profit off the table. But I think like something like similar to ICN, I think it could take a while to get cooking. ICN dropped below the token sale price. I participated in it last year. And it actually turned into like one of our, wow. I didn't notice it dropped that much. Okay, I should have gobbled this up with my Kraken money that I had sitting there. That's what I didn't do. Anyways, nice bounce for anybody who gobbled up some cheap ICN. I mean, it's already bounced like 26%. Anybody scoop some of that cheap ICN up? Nice. And I bet you there's one thing that's certain now. Anybody who is slightly concerned about me selling the top, all I can say is you're welcome. It's called selling into strength. Either way, you can't win that battle, because if I didn't sell the top and I waited for the breakdown, big, why'd you wait so long? Why did you wait? I'm just joking. I'm teasing, guys. I'm pulling your leg. I'm pulling your leg. I like to I don't know, I guess I feel pretty good about selling the top. That was actually a really nicely executed trade. That's why I bring it up. But it caused quite the clamor. People really thought I created a top. Now here's a philosophical question. It's kind of like, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Given the state of the entire altcoins, if I didn't sell the top, would it have still been a top? Right? Think about that. Would ICN magically would have miraculously not have bled out into the gutter like every other altcoin? I sold 50%. I sold half my bags right there, right? And I sold, when I decided to do all the cleanup and stuff, I sold the rest. And the reason why I gave a blanket, I'm cleaning up my altcoin bags, do as you will. I'm reducing and selling all my bags except for this, and that. When I gave you a generic thing and people want to know, well, which ones, which targets, which bags? I said, listen, I gave specific targets on a particular market. It's like, you guys clean and decide where you're going to sell in your targets and what you're going to do. I'm just telling you that I'm selling all my bags. And I'm going to sell on some bounces on some limit orders. And you make with that information what you will. You do with it as you will. But this is a beautiful bounce play for a couple reasons. For anybody who caught it. Couple of I'm all out of ICN. I'm 100% out. Although I regret not buying that dip. I should have bought that dip. Oh well. It was like late. When the real blood happened, it was like 4 in the morning type of late. Okay, so check this out. It almost hit the 78% retrace, and when you see that prior resistance turn support in a big sharp red, sharp candle, boom, violent red candle, it's going to have a nice bounce. Like I said, it's not the slow grind that's like, oh, this is going in a slow grindy bear channel for the next 3 months. I'm okay when I see sharp, red, violent, brutal, emotional candles. I'm still holding expect, actually. So the long-term stuff like expect, I'm just like, whatever. I'm holding it for like a year. It's so illiquid and so small. Like, if it turns into something, let's see if it turns into something big. Let's see if I could ever get at like a couple bucks, So it's more, I'd say expects more kind of like in the investment camp, actually. So I'm not really trading it. And that's why I actually don't really talk about that market, because it's not liquid enough and I don't want to create any pumps or anything like that, right? I have to I like to just stick with more liquid markets where there's enough of a feast for everybody to eat at the table without, maximum slippage and, playing these illiquid shitcoins, right? So, anyways, didn't quite make it down to that level, but, definitely high probability area. And moments like this, I would cost average down. Absolutely. So if I did buy here and it went down here and it just sharp red or went all the way down here, I would load the boat. YOLO. Absolutely. Mother of bounce plays. Absolutely. Completely comfortable in doing that. I get greedy. When the markets were the most extreme, the most red, the most down, I tweeted, in this moment, I feel intense greed. I went into all my trading accounts and I loaded the boat on everything. Oh man, I gotta get a bounce on this, bounce on that, woo! And it's no small sum of money either, so. Alright, so, let's do this. What am I doing here? What else did I buy? Oh yeah, GNT, so that was an example I gave. What if it starts to continue down slow? Well, if I really kind of grind it out really, really slow, then yeah, I'll do FCT. I'll do Factum. I bought Factum too, by the way. Then, then maybe I'd have to cut it. So I didn't nail the exact bottom. I was more like right here, right? I was a little bit early, but I held. So sometimes you might not nail the exact bottom, but oftentimes if you panic sell at a loss, that usually that's where the bottom is. So I just held. I was like, whatever. If I wake up and it's down here, all the way down here, man, you know how greedy I would get if all of a sudden there was a big candle all the way down here? Back where I originally bought for dirt cheap for 2 cents? Holy smokes. I would load the boat. Load it up. Greedy, greedy, greedy. I would love that. I would just salivate for that. So I was comfortable at the risk. But Rocky, BTC would be on its way to $1. Alright, so this one. And you know what? I'd cut out. I cut out of this market. I cut out of Golem on the breakdown. Listen, when I see a trend line break, I don't mess around, okay? I see dead cat bounce, I don't mess around. Breaks down, I do not mess around. Brutal. Ruthless. Cut it. No regrets. Sayonara. It's disposable. Wash my hands of it. To heck with it. So. And good. Now I got to buy some more for bounce. Now what was I looking here? So kind of came down to the 78. Almost. Almost. But check this out. See all that prior resistance up there? Prior resistance turned to support. Boom, boom. Support, support, support. Boom. I was thinking about ETH, but it didn't bleed as hard. I knew that ETH would probably bounce. It didn't bleed as hard, so I was just kind of, I don't know. I'll look at Factum, then see a cash. I did buy some Factum too. Similar thing. We pretty much saw the same thing across the board. 78% retrace. Not quite the prior resistance turn support. But, close enough. There's a lot of noise happening through this area. Right? Yeah, sometimes you might think you hit a bottom and you get one final shakeout. Right? Edgeless. Edgeless is actually something I regret not selling into strength. I was trying to have strong hands on something. Just in case. And I think it's bouncing though. It's bouncing. It's obviously bouncing. This would have been a good bounce. But this is, again, philosophical question. If I sold into strength and took profit, would I have created the top? I don't know. I'm playing with like quantum parallel realities here. I sure as heck know people would have said I created it. I was so tempted too to sell up there. Anyways, what I should have done. What I should have done is, I don't know. I guess there was kind of an immediate line up here. I should have probably cut it there. But, so I don't know. And it's like this. If for some reason we do create tops, well, I don't know. I don't try to move or manipulate the market at all. I'm not into that. I could just trade whatever the market's there. I'm not a market mover or anything like that, right? That said, if as a byproduct of me saying that I'm taking profit on something, if it happens to create a top, then it's probably better for us to create tops than for other people to create them. If I had to choose, I think we're probably better off being the first ones to sell than other people. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but here's an example of us not selling into strength and it kind of flopping. But am I gonna sell my bags on a dead cat bounce? Actually, there's kind of this trend line right like this ish. Nah, whatever. I'm gonna sell my bags. I'll probably set some limit orders. And this one I'll be patient and maybe wait till it comes up to this. So you could wait for like bigger bounces down to the 50 to 61.8 area. But, if everything's kind of on the edge as it is right now with Bitcoin, Bitcoin could still roll over and break down. We could still see another round of blood. So I'm not quite holding a lot of things for this level. I'm being a little bit more modest. Being just satisfied with quick 20 to 30% bounces, even if it doesn't hit. Because, you know, you could squeeze out more, but it also comes with bigger risk, right? So this is already a 34% bounce up here, 60. Now this, I'm going to wait because my cost basis is really low. So I'm going to wait, and I'm going to wait till it comes up here, and then I'm going to just have some limit orders. It's like that. Done. Let me look at UBQ. This was like a mid cap that I bought. But this one kind of looks sketchy. It's not super liquid. On the fence about that one. Not a lot of buy support. We'll see. Some of these might flop too. We'll see. But I like the UBQ project. I originally bought it when it was down here. Like, so it's kind of hit that 61. If this really dumped hard, I might buy more. What do I think of QRL and Lunar? Well, I took a hit on Lunar, and I took a hit, smaller hit on QRL, bigger hit on Lunar. And I'm glad I did because it bled even harder. But those will probably bouncing too. Also, I was able to do that without regret because I was looking at my entire portfolio as like one basket of currencies. So it was like one organism. And so I wasn't just looking at each individual one. I was looking at the overall Bitcoin and dollar gains and percentage gains of the entire portfolio as a whole unit. Right? So when I looked at my portfolio chart on Bitcoin Compare crypto compare .com/portfolio, when I saw on my charts the dead cat bounce after the first correction, that's when I knew when to exit. And that meant starting to be ruthless with a lot of things. So it's just even things that I was down on. Obviously, this is bouncing, right? So you could have even bought a dip. Basically, you could have just bought a dip on anything. That's why I said, listen, I'm not giving you specific coins. Go out and go hunting. You're going to find some bounces, period. Go pick your favorite flavor of crypto and buy some and see what happens tomorrow morning. So you had a whole medley of choice. It could have just been like, buy everything. Just buy it all. And then sell it all. Like, stack limit orders, buy it all. Don't be greedy. Keep your orders modest. Maybe stack them at different levels, and there you go. Right? Sia Cash. This was another one I bought. I'm actually, some of these I'm looking at for the first time on charts as well. All right, so this is having a nice little bounce. Something similar. When all the markets are correlated, every single chart looks the same. That's why I say buy it all, or buy whatever you want, or don't buy if you're not comfortable with the risk, or sit in cash, or, you know, whatever. Because all of these markets look the same because they're so correlated. But again, what's going to happen if it bounces? We're going to get a head and shoulders. Right? Right? And if it bounces to that 61.8% retrace, oh my goodness, it's a miracle. It's a right shoulder. Boom. Right? I mean, this is some textbook stuff. Doesn't really get any more textbook than that, to be honest. Now, could it still all flop and burn and whatever? Yeah, sure. But just look at these nastiest candles. Look, it's the end of the world. Look at these bounces, man. Look at this. Look at that. Wow, 70% bounce. I'll take some of that. Holy smokes, 50% bounce. Wow, even these weaker bounces, you know, 55%, like sharp red candles. Oh, it's up higher. Whoa, crazy bounces, you know, 26%. Some juicy bounces, right? 27%. I'm being modest. I'm doing between 20 to 40% bounces. I'm being modest, different areas. just in case, right? Just in case Bitcoin flops. I think Bitcoin's having a nice little bounce right now. But just in case it flops, you never know, right? So I'd like to be out sooner than later. What else did I buy? I must have bought something else. I think Zcash is probably one of my good performers right now. XML, sure. I bet you if I look at XML right now, it's going to look like all the rest of the charts. Ooh. XLM, sorry. XLM. Maybe. Ish. Almost a full retrace. See, this is kind of like the slow, grindy bear channel. The kind of dumps that I don't like. And see how it dropped even below 71. See, it had a nice sharp bounce that didn't last very long. Poof. Scooped it up. Doesn't mean it won't break and recover, but it's not the same quality and texture of primo dumpage as this violent, nasty rate to the downside. Right? Imagine a rubber ball. And imagine taking that rubber ball and slamming it into the concrete with all your force and all your strength, and then watching it bounce into the sky, right? Now, imagine taking that same rubber ball and gently allowing it to roll off your hand and dribble slowly onto the ground. And it has these little bounces, but it just kind of dribbles and fizzles, kind of weak, right? So just apply Newtonian laws of physics to this, right? The markets are just dealing with motion, right? We're just dealing with motion. You've got inertia, momentum, counterforce. Well, let me tell you, when you get a lot of momentum and then you hit a lot of counterforce, you get a lot of momentum in the opposite direction, really, really fast and furious. And look, it bounced all the way down to the 78% on the nose. And boom! Explosive bounce. Much easier to trade. Just off the initial one, you could have made 83%. If you had the chutzpah, you could have maybe even made 200%. But this is like the dead cat bounce, return to normal. You better take profit. Inverted Adam and Eve double bottom or Adam and Eve double top type of thing. Sharp, curve, blah, blah, blah. Right, dead cat bounce. Burn these motions, burn these patterns in your brain. Etch them, live by them, breathe them. Tattoo them to your arm. Right? Once you understand and once you trade it, and once you only trade when you have an edge, you will feel more confident in being able to pull the trigger with ferocity. Still managing risk. But, you can't be a wimp either. If you want to trade the blood, you can't be a wimp. And if you're new at this and you need to experience your first bounce plays, just play around. Test it out with a little bit amount. Experience it firsthand. Maybe toss $50 or something in it just to watch it rise, Get the experience. Dash. Let's look at Dash. Now, this could still break out. Like, if it breaks out of this channel, then that's a different story. That could be like a reversal play, right? Or it could just hit the top of this channel and then grind down for final capitulation. Dash, I would almost say the opportunity for Dash might be over. I mean, it had a huge wick. I didn't go for Dash. It was still it wasn't like this kind of dump like we saw with everything. See, most of these other things that I bought happened to Dash really early, right? See how it dumped and hit. So you got this tower effect. See this tower that we've been seeing on everything else? Like, this is the kind of dip buys that I bought. Right? And look at Dash. Like, boom. Like, so you could still probably soak up more than, that's 100%. Boom. Right? So when it's like mid-range and it's like this little Mickey Mouse, like sure it was a sharp candle and sure it bounced, but got scooped up quickly and it was pretty Mickey Mouse. It wasn't like these other massive, nasty towers of blood that we've seen on everything else. It's like, not my cup of tea. Even though it bounced, unless you nailed the bottom. I mean, you could have got your quick 20%, no doubt, but you know, this probably happened so fast, and I don't know if I would feel confident buying it in a mid-range level like that. That doesn't feel like an edge. Where would I discern would be the bottom of that? Right? That was just kind of fluke, right? You could have bought there and then it ended up like right here, right? Is it possible? Let's Okay, so anyways, anything else? I mean, the same principle applies. We could look at all the markets, but we can look at all the markets type of thing, but you know, you should be able to look at any market, look at any chart. It's not rocket science. You wanna measure dip buys. You start at the bottom of where the bull trend started. You measure it to the top with your fib retracements up here, right in this area, right? Click on that, fib retracements. Start at the bottom, measure it to the top. You know, 78% is a high probability bounce zone for illiquid garbage shitcoins. And look for like areas of you know, confluence, like here. You know, is prior support turn resistance? Is this that? Like blah blah. Is it a sharp red dump candle? Is it a grindy bear channel that you don't want to touch and just get out of its way because you'll spend months trying to cost average down and getting right? Learned or is it like some weak mid-range? Like, hey, if you bought the bottom, you're just getting lucky because there's no, you know, it's just mid-range chop. Right, smaller moves, like three different textures of dumps, fib, retracement. Everyone, based on what I just showed you right now, should be able to understand what I'm talking about. So these are three different textures of dumps, and the one I'm most interested in is this one. Yes, this is recorded. Is this one? Boom, sharp tower. All right, so that's it for today's video.